Okay, so hello, welcome to my third only video. So again, I'm all new to this, but really quite excited to start getting a bit of creative juices flowing and exploring a new paint range that was bought as a gift from my husband. They're a collection of 3. So if you've seen the previous videos that I've already done, I've investigated Space Dust, which was the first one we looked at. And the second collection of 6 was Magic Dust, which is that one there. And then today I'm wanting to look at Galaxy Dust again, which is a pack of 6 in the series of the Shifters collection from Vallejo Colours. These were purchased from Home Firth Gaming Centre, and we'll put links below if anybody's interested in getting a set for themselves. So this is a really new range. It is intended for the use of airbrushes, and we're going to explore that in another video. They're acrylic paints that shift, the pigments shift from, depending on the angle that the paints are viewed in, across a palette of these amazing iridescent chameleon colours. So that's full range there that I showed you in the last video. They're broken down into a collection of 6, or you can get the whole collection in this one here. So I suppose it depends on what you're wanting and how much you want to spend. Okay, so I'm going to do the same process just to keep the experimentation fair. Bit of a scientist in me. So the colours we've got here, again, are very similar in that it looks like we've got 2 translucent pale colours, and then we've got some that are a bit more heavily pigmented there. So we'll have a look at them. I'm going to put these 3 side by side just because they look very similar in the bottle, and I found with the last collection that there were 2 bronzy colours that look very similar. Now, I don't think I'm doing this paint justice by painting onto white cartridge paper. So I have already mentioned in my other videos, if you've seen them already, that I'm going to repeat the process over black, and we're going to run them through the airbrush as well, just to use the colours as they're intended onto a 3-dimensional form using an airbrush. So the first colour, looks quite scrummy, is dark green tin. Doesn't sound scrummy, but it does look it. Initially looking at the nib of the, yeah, very intense. I'm actually quite excited about this one. Let's have a look. So first of all, I'm going to fill the whole box just with a brush. Whoopsie daisy. You can see that shimmering, that's lovely. And then I'm going to try and do like a bit of an intensity experiment in the box above. So I've just reloaded my brush there. So you can see as it goes onto the page that it's intended more of a airbrush use, because it's not given that initial even tone. So I think with an airbrush it's going to give that nice thin film of colour, which I think will help the pigments be sort of visible. So I suppose it's intended for use that way. It'll be better. Okay, so I'm just doing, as I did before, like a bit of an intensity experiment, just for me to learn how they carry on the brush. Nice and intense here, less so there, but you can see how it's become a bit more drier and it's not as intense. Now, I'm really interested in how it's left this sort of almost like a watermark. I've noticed that with the previous applications from the other packs. So I don't know if that's some sort of carrier that's in the bottle for the use of the airbrush application. I'll go back and read the packaging in a bit more detail, see if I can learn more about that. So I'm going to set my brush aside. So that one is dark green tin. Next one in the lineup is green gold that changes to a cold blue. So give that a bit of a shake. Get myself a fresh brush. Load my brush and on it goes. So as expected, it's quite a translucent tint of a colour. I'm going to do the intensity test, applying it directly to the page. So that's nice viscosity, it's holding well to the brush. I think I could do a couple more strokes without that running out, so I'm not getting the same dry effect as I did with that one. So I'm seeing a bit of a pattern here. I'm seeing that when they're more intense with the ground colour, the sort of not holding on the brush as well, and you're getting this sort of more of a dry brush effect. So again, I'm expecting this to be translucent on the page. Once these have dried, I'll hold them up as before to the camera just so you can hopefully appreciate the shifting colour. But it is very difficult to see. On the palette, I'm seeing a haze of pink there. It is same violet. So this is, ooh, turquoise violet. Okay, that's interesting. Let's have a look at that. So I've loaded that on the brush. I'm seeing it with a bit of a haze. I don't know if you can see that. Is that a focus? I don't think you can see that. So a flash then. Yeah, I can see a flash of bluey pinks. Not so much of the turquoise at the moment, but I'm definitely seeing that flash, that intense violet just sort of shining through. So that one's turquoise violet. Let's have a look at this one. So I imagine this again will be intense initially because of the ground colour. This is emerald green to mauve, so that sounds rather exciting. Emerald green to mauve, lovely. Oh, oopsie daisy, didn't do my intensity test. Let's get the same brush back. I think it was the white one. So that's the same as before. Really nice to go on. It's really sort of damp on the page. That's held all the way through to that last stroke. So let's see if the pattern continues. Well, I'm expecting this to be initially really intense, but not to hold very well on the brush perhaps. So I put a bit extra on the palette just because I'm anticipating that effect. There's my brush, load it up. So it looks like a very similar ground to the ones that we saw in the previous pack, the Magic Dust, that bronzy sort of ground. Quite translucent actually. Maybe that's me not shaking it enough in the bottle. So quite subtle actually on the page. I'm just gonna load that last bit of paint up and just apply that there just to see if it intensifies it a little. So emerald green to mauve. I'm seeing ever so slightly dancing across the surface, very subtle green. Not sure if I'm seeing lilac here or whether or not it's just because of the paint still being damp on the page. We'll try that intensity test. Set that down there. Those are the ones we've done. Yeah, same thing. It's a little bit wetter at the end, similar to that. So that's interesting, isn't it? That these translucent ones just, it might be that you just can't see it, but it just seems on my brush that I'm running out of colour as I'm doing those 3 strokes. Okay, so next one, again, these are the 3 that look very similar in the bottle, so it's going to be interesting to see if that's the same on the page. Oopsie daisy. So this one is light violet to green. So light violet to green. So it sounds, oops, I need to, it sounds very similar to this one. This one is emerald green, whereas this is just green. This is light violet and this one's mauve. So perhaps quite tonal in the shift with this one. Do the intensity test of this one. Light violet to green. Okay, that actually applied a lot nicer than the previous one. Okay, so the last one in this collection, again, it's got quite a coppery base. It is named Green Silver Blue. So very different on the actual label. You can see it's more greeny, but the bottle itself is quite deceptive in that it's a coppery colour. So we'll see. Myself a brush. So initially I would say that this is paler than the previous two. That coppery tint in the bottle is blending into the page a little bit more so than these two. See what it looks like on the page direct from the bottle for that intensity. And I'm going to do my 3 strokes just to kind of get that intense, that medium, and the palest, which isn't quite stretching out very well. Okay, so that is the last collection of the shifters range. I'm going to just hold these up to the camera so you can maybe appreciate that shifting of the pigments in there. So I think looking from what you can see on my camera, this one is definitely the most intense overall colour. These are very similar, just looking on camera, as are these, which are the translucent ones. But I'm going to bring it up to the camera so it's closer. I'm also going to sort of shift it in different directions where hopefully you can see that change in that chameleon effect. And it's quite difficult because I've got some sort of really strong lights around me off camera that perhaps don't do these justice, but I can really see that one shining, that lovely, wow, look at that, that's beautiful. Oof, look at that, I could dive straight into that. That's just delicious. Really intense emerald green and those gold tones. Now let's just have a little look at the bottle. That's telling us it is dark green tin. That sounds really sludgy to me. I don't think that's I don't think that name does it justice. Don't know what I'd rename it to, but something more delicious than that. So I suppose you're getting that tinny tone there, but see if I can recapture that beautiful emerald. There it is. Look at that. Oh, beautiful, gorgeous. Look at it, look at it, lovely. I want to work with that. I want to put that all over the back of a beetle. I'm going to be drawing myself a beautiful scarab beetle with that. That's really lovely. So these ones, you can see the blue. You can see the blue in this one at that angle, the upper shot. And this one's more green. And this one, I believe, said it was pale blue. Yep, green, gold, cold blue. I still kind of see green more than blue there. This one's nice. I'm seeing that. See the sort of violet tones coming into play. What's that one called again? That's turquoise violet. Yeah, I'd go with that. I'm seeing turquoise and violet. have a little play with these. What can we see? It's looking more goldy, isn't it? So that one, let's remind ourselves. This one here at the end was green, silver violet. Middle one is light violet to green. Oh yeah, and this one was very similar in emerald green to mauve. Let's have a look. Can we see the green? No mention of copper there, is there? Or bronze? I can see the green on the latter two. I don't know. I mean, looking off camera directly at the page, I'm seeing more pinks, mauves there, silvery blues maybe there, and more greeny yellows in the last one. Again, I'm just going to say what I've already said. I don't think these paints are done much justice being on cartridge paper, being on white paper applied with a brush, which goes against what it actually says on the packaging, which it tells us to use them for airbrushes and to put it on a prepared ground, so it'd already be a colour on there. They're talking about making sure they're well mixed, making sure that you can mix them with parts of water to dilute them so you've got the right viscosity to run through the airbrush. So our next plan is to run these colours as intended through an airbrush onto a three-dimensional, probably, I don't know, maybe we'll do it black painted ground, and then we'll just see again what sort of effect we have, and hopefully we can appreciate that chameleon effect, because that's really what I want to see. Adore this colour. I'm going to work with these then eventually in little studies of insects, just because I think that iridescence effect will really lend itself perfectly to that, and I just want to give that a go. So thank you again for watching. Links below if you are interested in acquiring a set of these colours. Please like and subscribe, and until the next time, I'll see you later. Thank you.